Your print-on-demand store is bleeding money. And the worst part is you're the one causing it. Because whether you realize it or not, you're already making at least one stupidly expensive mistake. Now, I just reviewed 50 stores from my community, and every single one of them was leaking money in the exact same ways that I did before ever scaling past 7 figures. And here's the trap. These mistakes feel like the right move. They make you believe that you're setting yourself up for success, when in reality, they're the reason most sellers quit before they ever see traction. That's why in this video, I'm going to break down the 5 stupidly expensive mistakes that I've made on my own brand and that I've seen time and time again for those 50 stores that I reviewed in my community. So if you're somebody who's interested in doing over $6,200 a day in Shopify sales, this video is for you. And if you're a complete beginner, you're going to be able to avoid these expensive mistakes and be able to keep more profit in your pocket by avoiding them altogether. So let's get into it and fix these mistakes on your store. Let's get right into mistake number 1, which is selling unproven products instead of what you know works. Here's something that'll blow your mind. According to Shopify's own research, stores that focus on 1 to 3 core products in their first year have a 2.3x higher profit margin than stores that launch with 20 plus products. Why? Because it allows us to focus on product lines that allow for better inventory management, clearer brand messaging, and stronger customer trust. When you spread yourself thin across multiple products, you end up diluting everything. I learned this the hard way with my first brand that I ever ran because it completely tanked. Now, to kick things off, I picked no niche, which was strike one. And then I started with t-shirts, which was a great start, but I wasn't getting sales. And instead of asking myself, why wasn't I getting sales on my t-shirts? I panicked. And I didn't dig into my designs. I didn't analyze my niche. I just thought, I need more products. If people aren't buying my design on a t-shirt, maybe they'll buy it on a mug or they'll buy it on a Yeti cup. I just thought I need more products. So I took my bad designs and I plastered them on everything. Mugs, hoodies, phone cases, tote bags, you name it, I slapped my terrible designs on it. I convinced myself that if I just add enough products, one of them would connect with somebody. But here's the thing. My husband, Chris, was selling t-shirts, hundreds of thousands of them every single day. I knew that t-shirts sold. I had proof right in front of me. But instead of sticking with the proven product and fixing the actual problem in my business, my designs and my niche, I just kept throwing money at ads for products that had zero data on it. Now, this mistake ended up costing me about $2,500. I lost $1,500 on the store in total, and even though I was making some sales, I was pumping way more money into ads thinking that would solve the problem. It didn't, because I was making panic decisions instead of strategic ones. Now, once I finally focused, picked one product type, fixed my designs, dialed in my niche, that is when sales started coming in. That's when I could actually scale. But here's what's wild. Even when you pick the right product, most people tank their budget on this next mistake. Want to know the fastest way to waste $500 and actually make your store worse? Research from Little Data shows that a 1-second delay in page load time can reduce conversions by 7%. Heavy, bloated themes with unnecessary features are one of the biggest culprits of slow site speed. Most premium themes, they're overloaded with features that you'll never use. Now, don't get me wrong, they look really impressive in the demo, but they absolutely murder your conversion rate. And I fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. Now, when I was starting out, I thought I had to buy one of those fancy marketplace themes. You know, the ones that are $500, $250, beautiful demos, all the bells and whistles. I genuinely believed that if I invested in a high quality theme, more people would buy from me. So I bought one, and that was $500 gone. Then I uploaded it into the theme editor and realized it's stripped down to the bare bones. It basically feels like the free Shopify theme. I had this idea that these magical features, like they advertised in the demo, would automatically be in the theme that I purchased, but that wasn't it at all. I still had to do a ton of work. I still needed apps. And the kicker, it slowed down my site so much that it actually hurt my conversions. And I wasted $500 on something that made my store worse. So here's what I do now. I stick with the free Shopify themes. You're going to customize it anyways. You're going to need apps anyways. So save the $500 and put it towards your marketing or design tools that you actually need to move the needle. Now, my site loads faster, my conversions are higher, and I keep $500 in my pocket. Don't get me wrong, Shopify themes are a ton of work. And it's one of the reasons why most people don't want to start on Shopify, because of the amount of work that goes into building the theme. Now, there's no need to spend $100, $250, $500, $1,000 on a theme. It's absolutely not necessary. And I want you to keep that money in your pocket. But if you're somebody who's sitting there and you're like, well, even if I do a free theme, it's a ton of work that I have to put into making this theme ready to take sales, I have a solution for you. BuildMyPOD.ai is going to take you through the steps of actually creating your Shopify store for you. It's going to set up an account. It's going to connect a Printify account for you. It's even going to upload 20 designs into your store based off of the niche that you select in the store builder. And the best part is, it's completely free. So you get to keep all the money in your pocket. And the best part is it's built on one of Shopify's free themes. So it's not going to be bogged down. It's not going to be super slow. It's going to be one that you can rely on. It's going to take out 95% of the setup time, because you're not going to need to tweak and fix all these little things. You're essentially going to need to add your logo, make any kind of brand changes that you want, like color and typography. And other than that, the store is completely ready to go. So if you're interested in bypassing spending money on expensive themes and bogging down your store and spending time setting up a Shopify theme, click the link in the description below and get started with BuildMyPOD.ai today. This alone will cut out weeks of work and you're gonna save money. But even when we are using a free theme, most people still kill their conversions because of this next mistake. Mistake number 3 is that you're not optimizing your store for mobile. Now, here's a stat that should honestly make you check your phone right now. Mobile devices account for 77% of all e-commerce traffic globally. But here's the killer part. Mobile conversion rates are typically 2 to 3 times lower than desktop. Not because people don't want to buy on mobile, but because stores aren't optimized for mobile shopping experiences. Now, if you're somebody who's running Facebook and Instagram ads like myself, the majority of our traffic is coming through mobile, because people will click one of our ads when they're in the Facebook or Instagram app and then try shopping on their phone. So if our store isn't built for that, we're making it really hard for them to actually buy. Now, I made this mistake for months without even realizing it. When you're in the Shopify theme editor, it defaults you to the desktop view. So I tweaked everything. I made it look perfect. I checked the images. I adjusted the layout. And then I clicked publish. And I started running ads and I was getting traffic, but nobody was converting. So I dug into the analytics and people were landing on my product pages, but people weren't adding to cart. They weren't checking out. So I finally pulled out my phone and I looked at my site, and it was a disaster. My add to cart button was buried 3 scrolls down. My images were getting cut off because they weren't optimized for looking on your phone. It was an absolute mess. One of the biggest mistakes that I see is that the add to cart button gets pushed way down on the product page, and it needs to be as close to where someone's thumb naturally sits on their phone as possible. They shouldn't have to scroll 3 different times to finally find it. We want to make it as easy as possible for someone to check out. So once I optimized for mobile and I moved that button up, fixed the layout, made everything thumb friendly, my conversion rate jumped. Same traffic, just way more sales. Now, even if you nail all of this though, the next mistake could destroy your long-term profitability. And that is mistake number 4, which is chasing seasonal trends instead of building evergreen stores. Here's something that most people don't tell you. A study by the Harvard Business Review found that businesses built on evergreen products have 4x higher customer lifetime value than those built on seasonal trends. Why? Because evergreen products allow you to build a consistent customer base, refine our marketing, and create predictable revenue streams. Now, seasonal trends, we're riding a rocket ship up and then crashing. And I lived this nightmare on my second store. Now, my first store completely flopped, but I was able to take everything that I had learned there and put it into my next store. And then I found a design, and it was very seasonal. This was during summer of 2020, in the middle of COVID, during isolation. And this design that was about like summer travel with COVID and being isolated from everybody blew up. It connected with people emotionally of where they were at in 2020. And I went from doing about $200 a day in sales to over $25,000 a day in sales. I thought I had figured print on demand out. I thought I had cracked the code, but then summer ended and my sales went back to almost zero. I didn't have a business anymore. It was gone. I couldn't turn the design back on the next summer because COVID wasn't the same summer of 2021. And the moment had passed. I had to start a third store completely from scratch, and all the momentum that I had built up was gone. After that summer, I didn't make sales for another probably 6 months. If I had just picked a niche that was evergreen from the beginning, I would have had a stable, growing income instead of this roller coaster that nearly broke me. Now, here's what I learned. Seasonality can boost an evergreen brand, but you can't build on seasonality alone. When you build with evergreen designs, your sales are going to naturally grow slowly and steadily, and our audience is going to compound over time. Our work ends up stacking on itself, and that's what I do now. My current brand is built on an evergreen niche. The sales are more consistent, the growth is more predictable, and I'm not starting over every few months. But here's the most expensive mistake of all, and it's the one that you can't see until it's too late. Now, mistake number 5 is not building and using your email list from day one. Here's a stat that honestly should terrify you. Email marketing has an average return on investment of $36 for every $1 spent. A 36,000% return. And according to OmniSend, email drives 29% of all e-commerce sales, making it the second highest converting channel. Translation, if you're not building your email list from day one, you are literally leaving 30% of your potential revenue on the table every single month. And I learned this lesson the most expensive way possible. I was collecting emails. I offered discounts in exchange for signups, but I let those emails just sit there. My first 2 stores, those lists honestly went down the drain. I didn't send any campaigns. I didn't nurture those customers. I didn't even understand how valuable they were. I was so focused on chasing new customers through Facebook ads that I completely ignored the people who had already raised their hand and said, "Hey, I'm interested." Now, fast forward to now, I've spent the last year building my email list strategically and actually using it the way that it should be used. And it has honestly changed everything. My email used to make up roughly 10% of my monthly revenue, but now it's almost 30% of every single month. This is huge growth. I can send an email out to a couple thousand people and make $1,500, $2,000, heck, even $5,000 in revenue from one email. And here's the best part. It's almost purely profit because I'm not paying for Facebook ads to acquire these customers. I'm just paying for the cost of producing and shipping them the product. This is why the Facebook ads are too expensive argument falls apart. Yes, ads cost money to get somebody in the door for the first time. But once they're on our email list, I can market to them time and time again for pretty much free. This is especially huge right now in Q4 because ads are the most expensive during the holidays because we're competing with every brand for attention. But if you have an email list, you can scale while you're paying a little bit more for the ads. It's not going to affect our profitability as much. Here's what you need to do. You need to start collecting emails now. Then we want to create a plan to stay in conversation with those customers. We want to send them value, send them offers, and stay top of mind. An email list is the difference between starting over every month and building a real sustainable business. Look, I made all 5 of these stupidly expensive mistakes over the years. They cost me more money than I even want to do the math on. 2 failed stores, 2 years of my life spinning my wheels. But once I fixed them, that's when I went from struggling to hitting 6 figures consistently every month. You don't need more traffic. You don't need a magic product. You just need to stop bleeding money on mistakes that you can't even see. Now, if we fix these 5 mistakes, I promise you, you will be running a completely different business. Go build something that actually works. And if you're interested in grabbing that completely free store builder that will build your Shopify theme for you, just click the link in the description below, head over to buildmypod.ai and get started today. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It would absolutely mean the world to me.